Hello and welcome everyone to the Fall In Podcast. Here we have a little bit of a segment where we have some ranting we're going to be doing about some things that are kind of going on nowadays. Of course, I'm joined in, I'd say, around the campfire here with Big Al. My name is Brian Britt. Let's go ahead and get into it, Big Al. What's on your mind?
Well, I think it's the same thing that's on everybody's mind. It's the Tom Brady saga. So I don't think it will be. Uh, I think we would be remiss if we didn't at least weigh in on this one.
Yeah, that's for sure. And and what you're referring to is him kind of making an analogy about the NFL being like being in the military. Is that what you're referring to?
100%. I think what he said was he actually compared uh, the deployment for the military to an NFL season.
How does that make you feel?
What I mean, why would I have to feel any way about what he says? If anything, I just wanted to talk for perspective. It's not about feelings. It's not like I don't understand why people would get angry because a man just makes an analogy.
Well, a lot of people apparently were very angry about it. I mean, I would assume probably people that did serve themselves, kind of like, hey, it's two different things, fighting and defending for the country and going out there and playing a game. I know that they do take hits and stuff like that, but they're not being shot at or having to, risk their, getting shot.
I mean, yeah, I got it. But like I said, for me, it's perspective. I mean, so what's your perspective on it as a civilian?
Well, I mean, it just recently, it really wasn't too much on my radar until, just recently. And I think he just maybe misspoke. I don't think everybody maybe should be all up, in arms about it. I think he's actually already tried to apologize and things of that nature. He kind of regretted saying it from what I've been reading. Kind of apologized yesterday for it. But I mean, my perspective on it, I think yeah, he did wrong. Is it, should he be crucified? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but that's the culture that we live in. So that's one of the reasons why we're going to have this conversation.
Well, let's have at it. You got something to say?
Well, I mean, I just the biggest thing I want to say is like from any perspective, it's I think what he was trying to say was in reference to the goodbye. He was saying that during the NFL season that you're just so focused on, the work week and to go into the games that you really, you're not really focused on spending time with your family. That's kind of grayed out where mom's going to be taking care of the majority of the heavy lifting because dad's out there earning that paycheck, and then that's what he does. He's a professional athlete, so that's how they make their living. That's how they provide for his. That's how he provides for his family.
Yeah, and also he's going through, I do believe, some heated things anyway. From what I've heard, a divorce is kind of on the horizon. But I mean, I think it's all about context on how he said it too. I mean, because I do believe I think it was on a podcast he said it. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, he was just talking to some guys, just trying to kind of kick back because I guess the one part I can understand is he's getting ready to retire, and Tom Brady's played football for the majority of his adult life, right? So here he
Yeah.
is, he's getting ready to, and maybe he did just misspeak, and I think that's what he did. But the, as a combat skills instructor, I want to talk about this because and it'll directly go into the same way it is for deployment because this is what people don't understand. So when I'm a green platoon instructor over in the 160 of combat skills, these guys are having we're making them come in all hours. They're coming in 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and so one of the teaching points that I have with them is the trip to Walmart, versus the 2:30 coming into work versus the deployment because these are all different goodbyes. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's if you're going to run to the WalMarts and come right back, that's hey babe, I'm going to Walmart. I'll be right back. No big deal. When these guys are leaving home, at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, how do you think they're leaving the house? They're not getting up,
Without
turning
saying
every.
bye, probably without saying bye.
Yeah, right. They're not getting up, turning every light on, and they're not going
I'm
over
leaving,
and
y'all.
yeah, the kids are asleep, the wife's asleep, and they're sneaking out,
Yeah.
not turning the lights on. That's a different goodbye. But when you get ready to deploy, that's a whole different goodbye because that's not I'll see you in a you know what I mean. That's a man. I don't. That's been. I don't know if I'm gonna see you again. Is what that is. And so and I tell my guys, you stand a greater chance of getting killed going to Walmart and back than you do getting killed at combat. I mean, does that make sense?
That's kind of crazy, though. Is that you think that's factually accurate? That there's a better chance you get. I mean, because I probably car accident is probably a lot more people die in a car accident, right?
Yeah, a lot of people died today. They left home this morning just to go to work. It's just a routine Friday. But even at the height of the war, we weren't losing soldiers at the rate that people were just dying from gun violence and just the things that are happening in the states. I mean, so it's the perspective.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, though. Kind of going back to Brady. You saying the goodbye, like whenever it comes to his games and him being all over the country, for a whole season. You know, he's got that's kind of a big goodbye in a little bit of a ways to defend him a little bit, saying whenever he's leaving his family, that's probably why he's having the divorce issues right now. I mean, because he's never home. I'm out there playing the game. When are you going to retire? You said you were going to retire a couple years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, but here's the this is where this gets really difficult. This is where not difficult but different. This gets really different because Brady is playing football. I mean, which is something that he's been obviously playing since he was a little kid, right? But let me take a journey. Let me take you on a journey because this is the easiest way that I can explain this to you that you can understand. So imagine if you're getting ready to go on a plane ride, but and where you're going, you don't know anybody. So when you get there, you're not going to know anybody. Do you understand that?
Yeah, that's definitely anxiety inducing. That's for sure.
Okay, perfect. And we don't. And number two, we don't know how long we're going to be gone. So you got to think about that as well. But this is where it's going to get tricky because this is what happened to me, right? At some point, I got ready to get on that plane, and what I did was I took my entire identity. I took who my mother affectionately knows as Little Al, and I put him into checked baggage because I was under the impression that when I got back, I would just go get Little Al back from checked baggage, and then we would go on down the little road there and have our little nice little life. Well, that bag is gone. It was lost, never to be found. That entire identity. Does that
Wow.
make sense?
Oh, it makes total sense. I mean, it's like you said, you kind of adopted your identity as the military, thinking you were just going to pick up, the little owl when you got home, and it just never happened because you became another person.
Yeah, that's now Little Al is lost baggage. And so even when the people that I came back to are sitting there and they're talking to me like I was the person that left, I don't care who you are, you're not the person that comes back. That's why I said, no one gets out of the military in better than they went in. Uh, and that's the easiest way that I can explain that. Brady never lost his identity. He was always Brady. But when you're saying goodbye to go on a conflict, anybody who is, and I don't care if they went to Kuwait, I don't care where the hell they went. I can guarantee you that they're not the same person that they were that left that came back. And especially when you go in the military, the person that you were when you went in the military is that you're gonna that bag is lost forever.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have memories of maybe whenever you were that person, but like you think that people don't recognize you in a lot of ways. When you first came back and your family, you were talking to them like you said that they were talking to you like they were talking to little Al, but you were a different person. Like, do you think they recognize that?
They don't want to accept it. I mean, my family still doesn't want to accept it, you know. And I always joked it was like in their mind that when I come home, then I'm alive, and then when I leave, I just go and I'm stagnant, and just waiting to come home again. But that's not the reality, nor is that fair, you know. So, um, but yeah, I'm totally, man. Yeah, like that's why that analogy to me is so real because I'll never be little Al again. I don't know whatever it was that he did that was so. I mean, just the innocence of all of that's gone. You know what I mean? I don't have any of that anymore.
Hmm.
And it
Now,
was
like
real.
feeding back around to the analogy though for Tom Brady. So, do you think he was right or wrong for saying he misspoke, and but still kind of got a
I
real
mean,
response from
I mean,
people though?
if you're sitting there having a conversation, an open dialogue, people have to have the ability to have free speech and make mistakes. I mean, the fact that so many people had an opinion about what he said is the only reason why we're commenting on it. And I just figured, instead of, oh, I'm angry and blah, 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 because why would I get angry about something that someone says? You understand what I mean?
I mean,
I just,
people say stuff every day that probably you wouldn't agree with and would probably upset you, but like, you know, that was an innocuous thing there. He said it wasn't really. I don't think it was victimizing really anybody.
yeah, heck no. I mean, he wasn't out there being malicious. I mean, hey, he's Tom Brady. If you're gonna let a professional athlete have that much effect over your emotions, and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I think the only reason that it had so much of an impact is just because he is Tom Brady. That's like always kind of my point was about that people. There's people out there that you'll talk to that have way worse viewpoints that are like really actually racist, or you just have this mentality that is just so toxic, and they, if they were as big as Tom Brady were, they would be canceled in a second. But like Brady, that wasn't that bad. Like, I mean,
I
there are
mean,
way worse things being said. The only reason it was so big was because he's Tom Brady and because it was on a podcast that a lot of people listen to.
and you can't cancel him. How are you gonna cancel Tom Brady? What are you gonna do? I mean, yeah, I got it, man. It is what it is. That he's just a dude, and people are probably gonna get angry by me saying that, but man, I've met some heroes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
In
makes a
this
celebrity like they just little fries compared to that.
and I've got no disrespect to them. It's just that what I call a hero is just not is not somebody that's paid to play a sport. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of the actual real heroes, they're not recognized for being heroes. Like it is the Tom Brady's, the John Cena's. You know what I mean? That are the kids look up to. Like they should look up to those strong figures that are trying to defend their freedom.
That's a whole different podcast right there,
I
man.
know, but
Because
it could be interesting to talk about it, right?
yeah, it's the entertainment factor, and that's where we are. We've almost kind of recreated the Colosseum, if you will, but instead of just having it one in Rome, we kind of got one in all of the major cities that the NFL and the NBA and Major League Baseball and even NHL. That's what people go there to watch this spectacle. It just we can't
Hmm.
make war. War is not a pay-per-view event.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely very true.
Yeah, so I mean, and another thing too, the government decided, after 9/11 that they weren't going to show any pictures of dead soldiers because it would just have an effect on people that will probably it would make the war not popular. Do you
Hmm.
understand? As long as the economy's thriving and people can go to the beach and they could get the Chuck E. Cheese and then that's all that people really care about. So the soldiers kind of understand it. That's why I can't wait to get some of these guys in here, man, so we could talk about some real issues. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely can't wait for some more for sure. Well, I think we about covered about as much as we can there about that whole issue. I mean, not really.
Absolutely. We've got a great lineup coming up. We got a lot of great people that we're going to be bringing on that we're going to be talking to here in the next week. So Uh, gotta we'll definitely just pay attention, folks, and we'll try to get the links out there and even throw some hints as to who we'll be talking to.
100%. Well, we appreciate everybody listening to this little rant session we had right here, kind of on the current events. We'll hopefully do some more very shortly. Make sure you tune in to some of the listen to some of the other podcasts we have in our little bit of a library. We have, I do believe, 6 episodes out now that are definitely some riveting content. But we'll catch you next time. Fall in.